Congratulations on the film.
Thank you. I've not seen it yet, so yeah.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No.
You are in for a treat. We'll just say it's a treat, as if we're surrounded by a treat. I can imagine all these kind of jobs are pretty good, but when you get to go and work with Olivia Colman and do the things that you guys get to do in this, you must have been pinching yourself.
You know, I haven't done, like, I mean, my career's mainly been television and stand-up, so, and, you know, I've been very blessed, you know, to work with Paul before, but when I got the call for this and you know, to have an offer from Paul after doing sort of Paddington 2, to get the offer to come and do this, and then learn that all your scenes are pretty much going to be with Olivia. And Timothée is incredible, man. It's very humbling, and you know, and it's not that far away. You think like 10 years ago I was on a building site. That's an amazing thing always to sort of pinch yourself, but always, you know, show gratitude that this has come along and this has happened. But Olivia's, Olivia Colman is everything you want to be and more. She's like, I've sort of feel myself getting emotional, but she's genuinely, like, as a human being, just one of the most wonderful people I've ever been around. She was like, consistently sort of making sure, you know, I didn't feel like out of my depth, because it was a big thing, and but also just as a friend, you know, we just hit it off automatically, and then that just lets you create the character that you see in front of you. And hopefully, I've not watched it. I watched it for the first time tonight at the premiere, but yeah, I think it just felt really special, and it felt like, you know, there was a real trust in what we were both doing with Paul and Timothée, and just a real fun thing to be a part of.
Yeah, working with Paul again, he seems to have this knack of, he's brought so much kind of magic to the cinema. You know, Paddington was a huge success, Paddington 2 even more so, and he seems to have this great ability to marry comedy and, you know, humanity, but also all the kind of magic that can happen in between. When you see him working, have you now got a sense as to why people rate him so highly as someone that can do that?
That's sort of first, you know, I've watched Paul's career from very early on, from his television work to his first film and first films, and from when I saw the first Paddington movie, and then when I came on to do Paddington 2, it was just like a line, and it was like, what I think I was called Tattooed Prisoner. I had one line, and then we did rehearsals, and that grew, and then it sort of grew into sort of like, when we did the sort of callbacks, it was like I had that sort of almost a 3 sort of set story, like a little 3-scene story, and then to be called back. And Paul is just this, what Paul conveys with Simon for their writing is this sense of magic. It just makes your heart a bit bigger, and it just makes you just feel like, it's almost like a throwback to sort of Indiana Jones and the Goonies and these sort of like magical bits of cinema. It feels like we sort of like, I don't know if people got too snobby or people didn't like stuff like that, but we do need it. We need escapism. We need, you know, like, I'm all for a drama that sort of says how bad the world is, but you only need to look outside your front door for most people to realise that, and actually to go somewhere and watch something about an inspiring young man setting up a chocolate factory and just something magical. It feels escapism. It's escapism for young people, older people. And I think that's a really, really important thing. I think that's what we're all trying to do as storytellers and performers. And I think Paul and Simon do that better than anyone as script. And I think as director, Paul King is just a generational talent. And I'm very blessed to have worked with him twice. And yeah, I hope to do it again. I think he's just a top fella to be about.
Yeah. How'd you get on with the dog? Because I know sometimes that can be...
Me and Timothée built a personality for the dog. The dog was an absolute helmet. I've got to say, if everything on there was on the job, everyone else was a joy. The dog, we were doing a scene, me, Olivia and Timothée at one point, and the dog just sat there barking for a whole bit of dialogue. Obviously he didn't like it, and then he took a massive dump and just walked off and left it there. And sort of like... and he just... The opening of the movie, I know you've seen it, is next to the waterfalls, and it was freezing. It's like we're shooting that in January maybe, ice cold, you know, by the water makes it cold, and me and Timothée would nail that scene. It would be like 90% of the scene done, and the dog would just walk off, or he'd bark, and you'd be like, and Timothée was like, hey, what is it with this guy? So we came up, I started doing a voice for the dog. I was like, this was my first big movie, and I was working with it, and the dog became a little... and then, it's Timothée Chalamet. It's insane because this guy's this massive star, right? He's one of the biggest stars. But me and Timothée, before every scene with the dogs, sort of one of the trainers would come up and go, right, here's your sausages. If he looks like he's going to step out of order, you've got to give him a sausage or a treat. And you're thinking, this is insane. This kid was like nominated for an Oscar at 20. Yeah. And he's like, this dog has got it was the biggest diva I've ever worked with. Yeah, I mean, if I see him at the premiere tonight, I'm swerving him. He's the only person.
I hope on the DVD or the Blu-ray there's a commentary track that's just the dog and you do the voice. I feel like that's what needs to happen.
I could never work out why Davis was even in this movie.
Well, you're in for a treat tonight. It's an absolute joy. Thank you so much for your time.
God bless you, man. Thank you
as well. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys.
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys.
Hey